I am Kendra, 29 years old, and a successful graphic designer in Austin, Texas. After 5 years of barely any contact with my conservative family, I got this out-of-the-blue invitation to a family meeting back home. Little did I know my mom would stare me down in our living room, sneer right in my face, and spit out, "Your job is shameful," before my sister grabbed my wrist and dragged me toward the door, hissing, "You don't deserve to be here." The words hit like a slap. My designs branding for women reclaiming their lives after trauma weren't art to her. They were a stain on the family name, something the church crowd was whispering about. I stood there shaking as the door slammed behind me. That night in the motel, I replayed it all, the betrayal burning. 1 week later, my phone buzzed nonstop. My mom's voice cracked through the line, trembling. "They're going to beat up your sister, please. Help." She was begging for money again, $100,000 to bail out her son-in-law's mess. I typed back 3 simple words. "You deserve it." Before I get to my story, I want to know what time it is and what city you're listening in. I'm glad to know how far my story has spread. 5 years earlier, it all started crumbling over that tense family dinner in Willow Creek. I was 24, fresh out of design school in Austin, with a partial scholarship and big dreams of building something real. My portfolio, simple logos, and websites for local artists had landed me a freelance gig that paid the rent. But back home for a rare visit, the air felt thick with the usual expectations. Mom had called it a quick catch-up. But as we sat around the oak table, her eyes darted between Dad and my sister like she was rehearsing lines. Dad Roland just nodded along his fork, scraping the plate in silence. He always deferred to her lead. My sister Marissa, 21 and newly married to Dwight, the golden boy from church youth group, smiled too wide, her hand resting on her barely showing belly. She was the perfect one, teaching Sunday school and baking pies for bake sales, while I was the outlier with my laptop full of frivolous sketches. Halfway through the meal, Mom set down her napkin and leaned forward. "Kendra, we've got a problem," she said, voice low and urgent. "Dwight's in deep, owes $100,000 to some bad lenders from his side bets at the track. They're threatening him. Threatening all of us." I froze, fork midway to my mouth. Dwight, with his clean-shaven smile and bank teller job gambling Marissa's face, paled, but she squeezed his hand under the table. "It's not his fault," she whispered. "Work stress got to him." Mom cut in sharp. "He needs help now, Kendra. You're doing well out there, those design things. Wire the money or they'll come for him. For Marissa and the baby." My stomach twisted. "Mom, that's insane. Why not go to the police? Or a counselor?" Her eyes narrowed. "Police and air our dirty laundry to the whole church. No family handles family. Pay it or your sister's life falls apart. You owe us for all those years we put up with your rebellion." Dad cleared his throat but said nothing, just pushed his peas around. Marissa teared up. "Please, sis. He's trying to stop. Just this once." I pushed back from the table chair, scraping loud. "Trying. If he's in that deep, it's not just bets. And you all knew, Marissa, has he hurt you?" She looked away, fingers tracing her arm, a faint shadow there, under the sleeve gone, before I could focus. Mom snapped, "Enough questions. This is about loyalty, not your fancy ideas. Pay up or you're no daughter of mine." The room went dead quiet. I saw it then, the way Mom gripped the table edge, her knuckles white like she'd rehearsed this ambush. They'd waited until I had something to squeeze. "I won't fund a lie," I said, voice steady despite the shake in my chest. "Not when it's covering up whatever's really going on." Mom's face hardened. "Then get out. We don't need your judgment." I grabbed my bag, heart pounding, as I headed for the door. Marissa stood halfway, mouth open, but Mom pulled her down. "Let her go. She's chosen her path." Outside, the Texas night air hit cold stars sharp overhead. I drove straight back to Austin that night, the $600 Dad slipped me on the porch. his quiet rebellion barely covering gas. From then on, the calls stopped. Texts dried up. 5 years of silence broken only by the occasional birthday card I ignored. But deep down, I knew it wasn't over. Traps like that don't vanish, they just reload. Those 5 years in Austin turned that rejection into fuel. I crashed on a friend's couch at first, the $600 from Dad stretching thin against rent and groceries. Days blurred into barista shifts at a downtown coffee spot, steaming lattes for tech bros who tipped in crypto promises. Nights I hunched over my secondhand laptop in the dim glow of a walk-up studio, tweaking logos and mock-ups until my eyes burned. Ramen noodles and thrift store hoodies became my uniform. No frills, just grind. The breakthrough hit unexpected, like most good breaks do. A regular at the shop, a startup founder named Lena, overheard me sketching client briefs on napkins. She ran a nonprofit for women starting over after tough spots. Divorces, job losses, you name it. "Show me what you've got," she said one rainy afternoon. I pulled up my portfolio on my cracked phone screen, clean lines, bold colors celebrating strength in simple icons. She booked me on the spot for her rebrand, a website that screamed resilience without shouting. Word spread from there. Lena's site went viral in local women's networks, pulling in 3 more gigs that month. I quit the coffee grind, cut waitress hours to weekends only. Every dollar funneled back in a better tablet for digital sketches, business cards with my logo, a stylized key unlocking a door. By year 2, I shared a warehouse studio downtown with 2 other freelancers, the space buzzing with printers humming and critique sessions over takeout tacos. That's where I met Tessa, a sharp lawyer who just wrapped a big case on workplace harassment. We bonded over late-night edits, her venting about depositions, while I refined her firm's sleek victim support portal. "You make survivors look unbreakable," she told me once, scrolling through a gallery of client testimonials. Our work overlapped my designs for her pro bono client sites that hid resources behind empowering visuals. She became my sounding board, the one person who got why I poured everything into this. The niche found me. Women reached out for branding that flipped their stories, logos for therapy practices, born from personal pain, color palettes, evoking quiet power for advocacy blogs. No stiff corporate stuff, just art that said, "You've got this." One series, Reclaim Your Mark, featured icons of women mid-transformation, earned me a regional award from the Austin Design Collective. The ceremony was small, a rooftop under string lights, but the plaque on my wall felt like proof. I'd built an agency from scraps, turning that ultimatum into a business pulling steady 5 figures a year. Family faded to background noise. Mom's birthday calls lasted under 2 minutes, weather updates, church potlucks, never a word about my wins. Marissa's texts popped up, sporadic baby pics, vague, "miss you" notes I left unread. Dad sent nothing, his silence louder than Mom's jabs. I told myself it was fine, that distance healed the raw edges from that dinner. Then out of nowhere, Mom's number lit up my screen one Tuesday evening. I almost let it ring out, but something in the voicemail, her voice clipped, almost scripted, pulled me back. "Kendra, family meeting this weekend, important, come home." "No, please, no details." My gut twisted. 5 years of quiet, and now this, red flags waved hard. Why drag me back after ignoring my life? But Marissa's last text, a blurry shot of her kid's first steps, nagged at me. What if it was real trouble? I rearranged client calls, packed a bag, and hit the road before dawn. The 4-hour drive east wound through flatlands dotted with oil rigs, my mind racing scenarios. Trap or truce? By the time Willow Creek's water tower loomed, doubt clawed in. But turning back felt like surrender. The drive ended with Willow Creek's familiar sprawl, same faded billboards for feed stores, and the steeple piercing the sky like a warning. I pulled up to the house on Elm Street, shutters fresh painted in that crisp white Mom obsessed over. Her minivan sat in the drive, flanked by Dad's old pickup. No Marissa's car yet, but lights glowed warm through the curtains. I killed the engine, sat a beat, then grabbed my overnight bag. Mom answered the door quick, her hug stiff and quick release. Kendra, you made it. No warmth in it, just duty. The place smelled of lemon cleaner and pot roast, the entry wall lined with framed photos, Marissa's wedding, the baby's baptism, dad at church events. Mine stopped at high school graduation, faded at the edge. We settled in the dining room plates, steaming under the chandelier. Dad at the head fork, methodical. Mom passed the rolls, chatterlight, rain chances, gas prices, how the church roof leaked last storm. Marissa arrived late, slipping in with a tired smile, her 2-year-old on her hip, thumb in mouth. Sorry, traffic, she said, settling the kid in a booster with crackers. The boy cooed, oblivious, while she avoided my eyes. Plates cleared, coffee poured, black. Mom set her mug down, deliberate. We didn't call you for small talk, Kendra. Her tone shifted, edged. Dwight's in trouble again. Deeper this time, $100,000 more to those lenders. They're circling, saying things that'll ruin us all. I leaned back, the chair creak, loud in the quiet. Dad sipped, silent eyes on his cup. Marissa bounced the kid, gentle face tight. Again, I echoed. Like 5 years ago, you fixed it then. Why drag me back? Mom's jaw set. Because you're the only one who can. Your agency's doing numbers now, from what I hear. Wire it quick, keep it quiet. Family first. The kid fussed, dropping a cracker. Marissa shushed him soft, but her free hand tugged her sleeve down, habit like hiding something. My pulse kicked. Family. You mean covering for Dwight's mess. Marissa, what's really going on? Has he laid a hand on you? On the boy? She froze, the kid squirming free to the floor. Mom jumped in. Don't start with accusations. Marriage has rough patches, prayer and patience fix them. Divorce. That's the real scandal. Church would never forgive. Dad nodded once, finally. Listen to your mother. I stood, slow chair pushing back. Rough patches? If it's hands-on rough, that's not patches, that's crime. Why protect him over her? Over your grandson? Marissa's eyes welled, voice a whisper. Kendra, please. Just pay. He'll change. For the baby. The kid toddled to her, tugging her leg. She scooped him up, but not before his sleeve rode up, a fresh red mark on his tiny arm, fingerprint shaped. My breath caught. He hit the boy too, Marissa. Mom slammed her palm flat on the table. Eatly enough. This stays in the family. Pay the debt or get out. We won't have your interference stirring more dirt. Dad rose halfway, hand on her shoulder, but stayed mute. Marissa clutched the kid tighter, tears spilling, silent. I grabbed my keys from the sideboard. Interference. This is enabling. Call me when you're ready for real help, not hush money. The door clicked shut behind me, cool night wrapping tight. Marissa's sob echoed faint through the wood, but no one followed. I made it to the motel 2 blocks over, room key cold in my fist, the betrayal, fresh as that mark on the boy's skin. The motel room door stuck on the humidity warp, slamming shut behind me with a thud that echoed my pulse. I dropped the bag, sank onto the sagging bed, and pulled out my phone. The screen glowed harsh in the dim lamplight. Tessa's number topped my recent calls, last time we'd hashed out a contract for her firm's new site. No time for pleasantries. Tessa, it's Kendra. I'm in Willow Creek. Family imploded, sister's husband is beating her and the kid. Debts again, $100,000. I need your brain on this now. Her end went quiet, a beat, then sharp. Slow it down. Where are you safe? Motel off Main. Yeah. But Marissa just showed me marks on her boy fingerprints. She's trapped and Mom's pushing cover up. Keys clacked fast. Okay, first, don't confront alone. Texas law's got teeth here. Family violence statute covers kids too. We need evidence. Photos, if she'll let you. Texts, anything documenting threats. I'll pull records on the debts, public filings for loans, maybe liens. I paced the thin carpet, linoleum creaking underfoot. She's scared. Mom's got the whole church angle, keep it sacred. But this isn't prayer material. Church won't shield assault. Send me what you have. I'll loop in a PI contact for discreet checks on Dwight background priors. If it's child endangerment, CPS could fast-track custody. A knock rattled the door, soft, hesitant. I froze, phone to ear. Hold, Tessa, someone's here. Peephole showed Marissa's face streaked and shadowed the boy asleep on her shoulder. I cracked the door, pulled her in quick. She collapsed onto the chair, kid stirring with a whimper. He woke up crying when you left. I couldn't stay. Tessa's voice tinny. That's her get details timeline of incidents witnesses. I'm drafting a safety plan. I nodded. Pointless switched to speaker. Marissa, Tessa's a lawyer, specializes in this. Tell us everything. Marissa rocked the boy, gentle voice breaking low. It started small yells after losses at the track, then grabs, shoves into walls. Last month he backhanded me for questioning the calls. The baby. He shook him once hard when he wouldn't quiet. I hid it all, Mom said, tough love builds character. But tonight, seeing you stand up, I can't anymore. Her sleeve rode up as she shifted yellowed bruises snaking her forearm, old and new layered. The boy mumbled in sleep, tiny hand clutching her shirt. My throat tightened. Photos, can we? She nodded, numb, held out her arms steady. Flash captured the evidence, clinical in the bulb's glare. Then she lifted the kid's sleeve, cautious, a matching fade on his chubby elbow. He doesn't remember, thank God. Tessa whistled soft. That's enough for a protective order emergency filing. Kendra, get her to a safe spot tomorrow. I'll have papers ready by morning. Debts. We verify legitimate ones, post-separation but illegal lenders. That's leverage for charges. Marissa wiped her eyes. What about Mom? She'll never forgive. Forgiveness later. Safety first. I squeezed her hand light. We'll get you out, custody, new start. No more hiding. We mapped it out hour by hour, Tessa emailing templates for statements, me snapping dated notes on a motel notepad. Marissa recounted dates, incidents, pushed downstairs 3 weeks back, locked out in rain last winter. The boys slept through, oblivious anchor. By midnight, the plan solidified, no bailout, straight to destruction. Report the violence, freeze assets on Dwight, build the case airtight. Marissa curled on the spare bed with her son, breaths evening out. I stared at the ceiling cracks, fire kindling slow. This time, no walking away half done. Dawn cracked through the motel curtains, gray light spilling over the rumpled beds. Marissa stirred first, the boy still out cold beside her. I handed her coffee from the machine down the hall, black, no sugar, the way she took it since high school. Ready? I asked. She nodded, eyes puffy but set. Tessa's email pinged, overnight protective order forms attached, stamped for emergency filing. We bundled the kid into his coat and hit the road before 8, straight to the sheriff's office in the next town over neutral ground, away from church eyes. Tessa met us in the lot, briefcase and handsuit sharp against the dusty stripes. Affidavits printed. Marissa, sign here, sworn statement on incidents. Kendra witnessed the marks. Inside air hummed with fluorescent buzz and ringing phones. The deputy at intake, a stocky guy with mustache, took the folder without fanfare. Photos crisp, Marissa's arm, boy's elbow, timestamps dated. Her words spilled, steady backhand shake, lockout in rain. He threatened worse if I talked. She finished, voice even. Deputy nodded. Logging it. Qualifies for ex parte order. No notice yet. Serve today. Tessa leaned in. Debts, illegal angles. Checked prelim usury loans, unlicensed. DA territory. Flag for investigation. By noon, order in hand, restraining Dwight from contact, temporary custody to Marissa. Filed divorce papers next door. Uncontested cruelty, endangerment. Tessa walked through. Asset freeze on joint accounts pending. Child support automatic once served. Marissa exhaled, slow, papers crinkling. Mom, she'll fight. Tessa's smile edged hard. Next, accessory to concealment. Texas Penal Code covers failure to report child abuse. Testimony seals it, she knew, years pushed cover. Civil suit for distress hit her savings. Drove back to motel to pack, boy napping in seat. Phone lit mid-route. Yvonne's number. Hit speaker. Tessa mouthing, "Record." Kendra. "Where's Marissa?" Dwight furious says you stole her. Fix now. Fix like 5 years ago. Grip tightened on wheel. Filed. Order served by lunch. Police have evidence marks on her grandson. Silent stretched voice cracked shrill. Wouldn't. Betrayal. Church here. Betrayal's hiding it. Suing two accessory. New mom. Pushed her back. Gasp line dead. Tessa pocketed recorder. Gold admission taped. Afternoon call from dispatch. Dwight arrested at job. Cuffs clicking on charges. Assault, family violence, felony, child endangerment, bond high, no release till hearing. Marissa stared at text photo of him in holding. Relief, mixed ache. Done. Not yet, Tessa said. Out of reach, push full custody, supervised if ever. Loaded car for Austin. Marissa passenger boy rear. Flatlands blurred tension easing mile by mile. Yvonne's voicemails piled pleas to accusations deleted without listening. Wasn't payback precision. System grinding on Dwight complicity. Marissa reached over, hand on mine. Thank you. Seeing what I couldn't. Austin's skyline rose by dusk first. Stop safe house. Tessa arranged locked doors code. Unpack, breathe therapy intake tomorrow. War not one strikes, landed clean. 6 months flew by in a haze of court dates and client deadlines, but the fallout settled like dust after a storm. Marissa's divorce finalized clean, uncontested once Dwight's lawyer saw the evidence stack. Full custody came through swift, the judge citing the boy's safety in the ruling. She moved into a 1-bedroom near my agency, the kid's room painted soft blue with decals of trucks he loved. Therapy stuck twice weekly, her voice gaining edge on calls. First time in years I slept without jumping at shadows. Dwight drew 3 years on the felony child endangerment charge stacked with the assault. No plea deal. DA pushed hard on the tape of mom's call, painting him cornered and volatile. Bail revoked after a hearing where his outbursts sealed it. Prison intake photos circulated in family group chats. I muted long ago, hollow eyes, jumpsuit hanging loose. The debt's bankruptcy wiped the legit ones, but the illegal lenders scattered when feds sniffed unlicensed usury. He wrote Marissa once from lockup, promises of change she shredded unread. Mom's world unraveled faster. The accessory suit hit her square. Civil judgment for emotional distress, $20,000 in damages plus fees. She fought it tooth and nail, dragging Dad into depositions where his silence finally cracked. I didn't know the half, he admitted under oath, voice gravel. They separated quiet, him crashing at a cousin's while she sold the house to cover the bill. Foreclosure loomed otherwise, papers stamped by month 4. Church elders called a meeting. Whispers of enabling sin turned to outright shun. No more potlucks, no choir spot. Her texts to me shifted from rage to please. Help your mother until I block the number clean. Dad reached out twice, voicemails halting. Proud of what you've built, Kendra. Sorry I stood by. I listened once, deleted the rest. No bridge there, not yet, maybe never. My agency, it exploded. The Reclaim Your Mark series caught fire after a feature in Texas Monthly, interviews with clients, my story woven in as the backbone. Inquiries flooded nonprofits, boutiques run by survivors, even a national chain wanting rebrands for empowerment lines. We hired 2 juniors. Studio expanded to a full loft with exposed brick and drafting tables. The big award landed. Spring National Graphic Excellence Ceremony in Dallas with spotlights and handshakes. Standing on stage, plaque heavy in my grip, I thought of that dinner table 5 years back. Not revenge, just proof. Marissa tagged along to the event, the boy in a tiny bow tie clapping wild. You did this, she said after hugging tight in the hotel lobby. We clinked sodas to new starts. Her side gig illustrating kids' books, my firm branching into workshops for abuse recovery groups. Looking back, the silence from home wasn't loss, it was space. Cutting ties freed us to rebuild without the weight of old scripts. Mom's choices caught her. Dwight's locked him down. I didn't lift a finger to soften it. Sometimes stepping back is the strongest move, letting consequences teach what words never could. If you're in the thick of it, know this: you don't owe rescuers to your own chains. Reach out National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. They've got ears that listen, plans that work. Share your story below if it hits close. Thanks for sticking through mine.